Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be sharing with you our top 5 tips for maximizing your kite trip to Pullman Coco, Cuba. Tip number 1 is to select your airline carefully. We went with a group of friends and we all ended up on different flights. The guys that went on Air Transit had to pay for everything extra. So their kite bag was an additional fee, all their COVID tests were additional fees, and it adds up quite quickly. Another friend of ours went with Air Canada. In addition to paying extra for his kite bag, when he arrived, he noticed both his twin tip and his foil board were pretty severely damaged. We ended up going with Sunwing, and the great thing about Sunwing is that you do get your kite bag for free. We also upgraded to the Elite Plus, which gets you priority boarding, but it also allows you to have a little bit more weight on your kite bag. So if you're bringing extra stuff, you won't get charged. Tip number 2 is to bring your light wind weapon of choice, be it a large kite or a foil board or both. In our case, the forecast looked really good. We were looking at 20 knots every single day, but as you can see, it's not quite 20 knots right now. So having a foil board definitely was a trip saver in our case. And it's better to be safe than sorry because the forecast in Cuba can be a little bit unreliable. Tip number 3 is if you're traveling with a group of kiters to share your equipment and pack strategically. In our case, we were traveling with a group of friends from Toronto, so we planned our kites accordingly and we took turns on and off the water. So that way we could spread out our kiting over the entire day without getting tired. This also helps you avoid launching and landing all the time, which can be great, especially if the kite spot is a little bit crowded. Tip number 4 is to be aware of the changing tides and how that will affect the conditions. In this particular spot in Pullman Coco at the Pullman Resort, we noticed that on high tide, not only did we lose a significant portion of the beach, but it also got much choppier. Personally, we are fans of flat water, so if it looks like it's going to be blowing all day, we tend to go out around low tide to enjoy it the most. However, if you're a fan of foiling, you may choose to go out during higher tide as the water will be much deeper. Typically when we go to Cuba, we go to Cayo Guillermo for kiting. However, this time we decided to change it up, so we came to Pullman Coco. The beach here at Pullman Coco is quite wide on low tide. However, on high tide, you do lose a significant portion of it, which means that kiters are all kind of gathered in the same spot to launch and land. While directly in front of the resort at Pullman Coco, the water can be quite deep and choppy. There is a beautiful flat water spot about 500 meters upwind. Tip number 5 is to pick a goal for your trip, be it learning a new trick or a new discipline. It's best to take advantage of the warm weather, the warm water, and the consistent trade winds to work on something that may be a little bit uncomfortable at home. Also, you may find that it gets a little bit repetitive here after a few days of kiting, but if you're learning something new, that really helps to break things up and keeps the trip exciting. So my goal for this trip was to learn how to ride a strapless surfboard. I don't have much experience on directional boards, so this was a lot of fun to learn in very friendly waves. I'm sure Yuri will insert some painful footage here, but overall, I'm very glad that I brought the board. All right guys, there you have it, our 5 tips to maximize your kiteboarding trip in Pullman Coco, Cuba. Let us know if we've forgotten anything in the comments below, and if you plan on taking a trip to Cuba anytime soon. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.